Everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from the Federalist dated July 14th. It says, multiple pardons granted by Autopen without Biden approving recipients, staff admit. So it's been a lot of news the last few days about Biden administration officials coming in, and every single one of them has pleaded the Fifth Amendment about his mental health, which just kind of tells me that, they don't want to give up the game because they're all going to go to prison or do something really bad's going to happen because they lied about everything. So let's just get into this and see what this says. So it says, a report released Sunday in the New York Times, of all places, reveals multiple pardons handed out in the final weeks of President Joe Biden's presidency were signed by an Autopen, some lacking Biden's final authorization. The article, titled, Biden Says He Made the Clemency Decisions That Were Recorded with Autopen, seemingly tries to dispel claims by President Donald Trump and his allies that Joseph R. Biden Jr. was incapacitated and his staff conspired to take presidential actions in his name. Well, I don't think that's a lie. It seems like that's actually what happened. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. So I don't think it's a matter of claims by Donald Trump and his allies. I think it's like kind of, I think we know this happened. At this point, we're just waiting for someone to confirm it, but they're all, like I said at the beginning, taking the fifth. This is in a brief phone interview with the Times. Biden insisted, I made every decision, and according to the Times, asserted that he had his staff use an Autopen replicating his signature on the clemency warrants because we're talking about a whole lot of people. Well, yeah, I think he pardoned like a couple thousand people, but at the same time, like, I think he's been coached to say what he's saying here, and and it's like the New York Times is calling him, and he's just going, I didn't do it. And they're like, all right, let's just take that at face value and move on. Let's keep going here. It says, the Times claims internal emails show that the Biden White House had a process to establish that Mr. Biden had orally made decisions in meetings before the staff secretary, Stephanie Feldman, who managed the use of the Autopen, would have clemency records put through the signing device. But then comes the line that seemingly undercuts the entire narrative being peddled by the Times, because that's what they do. They're just a Democrat front. It says, Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people he and aides confirmed. Rather, after extensive discussion of different possible criteria, he signed off on the standards he wanted to be used to determine which convicts would qualify for a reduction in sentence, the Times' Charlie Savage and Tyler Pager wrote. It says, according to the report citing an aide, however, small changes to the list kept occurring after Biden signed off. That's a problem. And so, rather than ask Mr. Biden to keep signing revised versions, his staff waited and then ran the final version through the Autopen, which they saw as a routine procedure. Probably should have looked up if it actually was before you did that, because now there's problems. Says Biden also reportedly made a list of high-profile clemency decisions during two meetings, one that occurred on January 18th, the other on January 19th. But it appears that the final approval for pardons during the January 19th meeting came not from Biden, but White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients. Is that how you pronounce it? Zients? Zients? I'm just going to say Zients, and we'll leave it at that. It says, Mr. Biden kept his aides until nearly 10 p.m. to talk through such decisions, according to people familiar with the matter, the Times reported, referring to a January 19th meeting. The emails show that an aide to Mr. Siskel, what about Mr. Ebert? Is he there? Sorry, I joked. Let's keep going. So the emails show that an aide to Mr. Siskel sent a draft summary of Mr. Biden's decisions at that meeting to an assistant to Mr. Zients, copying Mr. Siskel at 10:03 p.m. The assistant forwarded it to Mr. Reed and Mr. Zients, asking for their approval, and then sent the final version to Ms. Feldman, copying many meeting participants and aides at 10:28 p.m., according to the report. 3 minutes later, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the Autopen for the execution of all the following pardons, the report continues. As in reality, the Times offers no tangible proof that Biden personally approved anything at all. Yeah, I was going to say, it's just the Zients guy saying, okay, do it. As every detail hangs on either Biden's word, emails saying it happened, right, or secondhand spin from anonymous aides still clearly desperate to convince the public the president was in charge. So the only proof that Biden actually orally made decisions comes down to an email reviewed by the Times from White House counsel Ed Siskel, who wrote, his name's Ed, not Gene, okay, the president makes the final decision on the final pardon and or commutation slate. Says the report comes just weeks after Neera Tanden, a former head of Biden's Domestic Policy Council, admitted before the House Oversight Committee in a closed-door hearing that she authorized Autopen signatures on documents without knowing who issued the final approval, according to Fox News. Tanden reportedly rarely interacted with Biden, and that is the end of the article. It says it's been updated since publication, but whatever, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, we're just seeing scandals from the Biden administration get bigger and bigger. We got this, and then as I'm recording this right now, what's going on right now is Tulsi just yesterday released the documents and everything showing that Obama was behind the Russiagate hoax. I mean, we knew Hillary started like the Steele dossier. Now we know Obama was behind the Russiagate thing, and we're all hoping for prison for people. But that was an Obama thing, but it just kind of goes Biden hand in hand because, he was Obama's vice president. So a lot of corruption here from Democrats the last 15 years or so. So we'll see how things play out. But what do you think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.